Marcus Thompson sat in his small apartment looking at his empty wallet. He had lost his job at the restaurant 3 weeks ago. The manager said he was too slow with orders. Now Marcus had no money left. His rent was due in 5 days. He needed a job fast. Marcus opened his laptop and searched for jobs online. Most places wanted experience he did not have. Some jobs paid too little. He was getting worried. Then he saw an ad for a waiter job at a nightclub called Velvet Nights. The pay looked good. The tips could be even better. He had never worked at a nightclub before. Marcus had only worked at regular restaurants. But he needed money badly. He decided to apply anyway. The club was in downtown Toronto. It was far from his apartment, but the job might be worth it. Marcus put on his best shirt and pants. They were old, but clean. He took the bus downtown. The city was busy with cars and people everywhere. He had not been downtown in months. Everything looked expensive. The buildings were tall and shiny. When Marcus found Velvet Nights, he was surprised. The building looked very fancy. The front had big glass doors with gold handles. There were no windows on the street level. A sign by the door said the club opened at 8 in the evening. It was only 2 in the afternoon. Marcus walked around to find a back door. He found an alley with a service entrance. A security guard sat by the door reading a newspaper. The guard was a big man with muscles. He wore all black clothes. "Excuse me," Marcus said. "I am here about the waiter job." The guard looked up. He studied Marcus from head to toe. "You have an appointment?" "No, sir. I saw the ad online. It said to come any time between 2 and 4. The guard picked up a phone and called someone. He spoke quietly. Marcus could not hear what he said. After a minute, the guard hung up. "Go up those stairs. Ask for Sarah. She does the hiring." Marcus thanked the guard and went inside. The back area was dark. He could smell cleaning products. Someone was mopping the floor nearby. Marcus found the stairs and went up. The upstairs was completely different. The walls were painted black with gold designs. Soft music played from hidden speakers. The carpet was thick and soft. Marcus had never seen anything so fancy. A woman came out of an office. She was about 40 years old with short blonde hair. She wore a black business suit that looked expensive. Her jewelry sparkled under the lights. "You must be here about the waiter position. I am Sarah, the hiring manager." "Yes, ma'am. I am Marcus Thompson." Sarah looked at him carefully. "Do you have experience in food service?" "Yes, ma'am. I worked at Tony's restaurant for 2 years. Before that, I worked at a diner for 6 months. Why did you leave Tony's?" Marcus felt embarrassed. "The manager said I was too slow, but I was always careful with orders. I never made mistakes." Sarah nodded. "This job is different from a regular restaurant. We serve drinks mostly. Some food, but not much. Our customers expect very good service. They pay a lot of money to be here. I understand. I am a hard worker. I need this job." "Have you ever worked with VIP customers before?" "No, ma'am, but I am good with people. I am always polite." Sarah walked to a window that looked down at the main club area. Marcus followed her. Through the glass, he could see a huge room below. There were many tables and chairs. The bar was long and curved. Lights hung from the ceiling like stars. Everything looked clean and new. "This is the main floor," Sarah said. "We also have a VIP section upstairs. The VIP section is where you would work. The customers there are special. They are celebrities, business people, rich folks. They want privacy and perfect service." Marcus looked at the VIP area. It had fewer tables, but they were bigger. The chairs looked more comfortable. The lighting was softer. He could see that working there would be different from Tony's restaurant. "What kind of celebrities?" Marcus asked. "All kinds. Musicians, actors, sports players, business owners. Some are famous all over the world. Others are just rich. All of them expect the best." Marcus felt nervous but excited. He had never served famous people before. This could be his chance to make good money. Maybe he would meet someone interesting. "The job pays $15 an hour," Sarah continued. "But the real money is in tips. VIP customers tip very well if you do good work. Some nights you might make $300 in tips, maybe more. Marcus tried not to show how excited he was. $300 in one night was more than he made in a week at Tony's. What would I need to do? Take drink orders, serve drinks and food, keep the tables clean, make sure customers have everything they need. Most important, you must be professional at all times, no matter who the customer is. I can do that. Sarah studied his face. Some of our customers might seem rude or difficult. Others might try to be your friend. You must treat everyone the same. Good service, but not too personal. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. One more thing. We do not talk about our customers to anyone. Not to friends, not to family, not to reporters. What happens here stays here. Can you promise that? Yes, ma'am. I promise. Sarah was quiet for a moment. She seemed to be thinking. Marcus waited. He tried to look confident but not pushy. The owner of this club is very private, Sarah said finally. He does not like problems. If you cause any trouble, you will be fired immediately. No second chances. I understand. I will not cause any problems. When can you start? Marcus could hardly believe it. Tomorrow, if you want. Tonight, if you need. Me. Sarah smiled a little. Tomorrow is fine. Come here at 7 in the evening. Wear black pants and a white shirt. We will give you a black vest and tie. You will work with another waiter for the first few nights. He will teach you everything. Thank you so much. I really need this job. Don, you let me down, Marcus. This is a good opportunity. Do not waste it. Marcus shook Sarah's hand. Her grip was firm and strong. As he walked back down the stairs, he felt hopeful for the first time in weeks. This job could change everything for him. On the bus ride home, Marcus thought about what Sarah had said. He would be serving celebrities and rich people. He had never done that before. He wondered if he would recognize any of them. He hoped he would not embarrass himself. That night, Marcus could barely sleep. He was nervous and excited. Tomorrow night, his new life would begin. Marcus arrived at Velvet Nights at exactly 7 o'clock. He wore his best black pants and a clean white shirt. His shoes were old, but he had polished them until they shined. He wanted to make a good first impression. The security guard from yesterday was still at the back door. He nodded at Marcus and let him inside. The club was already busy getting ready for the night. Workers were cleaning glasses, setting up tables, and testing the sound system. Sarah met Marcus at the top of the stairs. She handed him a black vest and a black tie. Put these on, then find Kevin. He will be your trainer tonight. Marcus put on the vest and tie in a small employee bathroom. He looked at himself in the mirror. He looked professional. Maybe he could really do this job. Kevin was waiting by the VIP section bar. He was about 30 years old with dark hair and a friendly smile. He had been working at Velvet Nights for 3 years. First night? Kevin asked. Yes, I am pretty nervous. Do not worry, I will help you. The most important thing is to stay calm. These customers might be famous, but they are still just people. Kevin showed Marcus around the VIP section. There were 12 tables of different sizes. The biggest table was in the corner. It had a curved booth that could seat 8 people. The table had the best view of the main dance floor below. That corner table is the most expensive, Kevin explained. It costs $5,000 just to reserve it for one night. The people who sit there usually spend much more than that. Marcus could not believe it. $5,000 just for a table. That was more money than he made in 4 months at his old job. Kevin continued the tour. He showed Marcus where the extra glasses were kept. He explained how to open expensive bottles of champagne. He taught Marcus the names of different types of whiskey and vodka. Always remember, Kevin said, these bottles cost hundreds of dollars each. Some cost more than $1,000. Be very careful. At 8:30 the club opened. Music began playing downstairs. The lights dimmed to create a party atmosphere. Marcus felt excited and nervous at the same time. The first customers arrived at 9 o'clock. They were a group of women celebrating a birthday. They were dressed in expensive clothes and jewelry. They ordered cocktails and champagne. Marcus helped Kevin serve them. The women were polite and tipped well. More people arrived every few minutes. By 10 o'clock, the VIP section was half full. Marcus was starting to feel more confident. The customers were just regular people who happened to have money. Then at 10:30, everything changed. The club manager came upstairs. He was a thin man with gray hair who usually stayed in his office. Marcus had only seen him once before. The manager looked nervous and excited. "Kevin," the manager said quietly, "we have some very special guests coming tonight. Make sure everything is perfect." "Who is it?" Kevin asked. "I cannot say, but they are very important. Use the corner table. Give them whatever they want." The manager left quickly. Kevin looked at Marcus with wide eyes. "This must be someone really famous," Kevin said. "The manager only gets like this for the biggest celebrities." Marcus felt his stomach get tight with nerves. What if he messed up in front of someone really famous? What if he dropped something or said the wrong thing? "Relax," Kevin said, seeing Marcus's worried face. "Just follow my lead. Smile, be polite, and do not stare." At 11 o'clock, 6 security guards came upstairs. They were all big men wearing dark suits and earpieces. They looked around the VIP section carefully. One guard spoke into his radio. "The area is clear," he said. 5 minutes later, a group of men came up the stairs. Marcus tried not to stare, but he could not help looking. There were 5 men, all dressed in expensive clothes. They wore designer jeans, fancy sneakers, and gold jewelry. The men walked to the corner table. 4 of them were tall and confident. They talked loudly and laughed. The 5th man was shorter and quieter. He wore a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. Unlike the others, he did not seem to want attention. Kevin approached their table with a big smile. "Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to Velvet Nights VIP. I am Kevin, and this is Marcus. We will be taking care of you tonight." The loud men nodded and started talking about what they wanted to drink. The quiet man in the baseball cap just sat down and looked around. He seemed more interested in the music than in talking. "We want your best champagne," one of the tall men said. "Money is no problem tonight." Kevin brought out a bottle that cost $800. The men were impressed. They ordered several more bottles and some expensive whiskey. Marcus helped carry the drinks to their table. As he set down glasses, he noticed the quiet man was tapping his fingers to the music. The man seemed to know every song that played, but he never sang along or drew attention to himself. The other men were different. They called out to people they knew. They took pictures with their phones. They wanted everyone to see them in the VIP section. As the night went on, more famous people arrived. Marcus recognized a few actors and a football player. Everyone seemed to know each other. The VIP section became very busy and loud, but the quiet man in the baseball cap stayed in his corner. He drank slowly and watched everything. Sometimes, he would lean over and whisper something to his friends. They would laugh, but quietly. Marcus found himself curious about the quiet man. He was clearly with the group, but he acted so different. While his friends were loud and flashy, he seemed calm and thoughtful. At midnight, a famous actress came to their table. She hugged all the men, including the quiet one. Marcus noticed that she seemed especially happy to see the man in the baseball cap. They talked for a few minutes, and she kept smiling and laughing at what he said. "Who do you think that quiet guy is?" Marcus asked Kevin when they had a moment alone. Kevin shrugged. "Probably just someone rich, maybe a business owner or something. Rich people sometimes act like that. They do not need to show off." Marcus nodded, but he was still curious. There was something about the man that seemed important. The way the security guards positioned themselves near his table. The way other customers glanced at him when they thought he was not looking. Around 1 in the morning, the group ordered food. They wanted the most expensive items on the menu. Marcus helped Kevin bring out plates of fancy appetizers and desserts. As Marcus set down a plate in front of the quiet man, their eyes met for a second. The man smiled and said, "Thank you," in a soft voice. His voice sounded familiar, but Marcus could not place it. The night continued until 3 in the morning. The group spent thousands of dollars on drinks and food. When they finally got ready to leave, the loud men left big tips for Kevin and Marcus. But the quiet man stayed back for a moment. He looked around the VIP section one more time. Then he walked over to where Marcus was cleaning glasses. "First night?" the man asked. "Yes, sir. How did you know?" The man smiled. "You have that new job energy. Nervous but excited." "Was it that obvious?" "Only a little. You did good work tonight. Keep it up." The man left a $100 tip on the bar and walked away. Marcus watched him go down the stairs with his security guards. As Marcus counted his tips, he felt amazed. He had made more money in one night than he used to make in a week. This job was going to change his life. But he could not stop thinking about the quiet man in the baseball cap. There was something about him that Marcus could not figure out. Something important that he was missing. Kevin finished counting the money from their table. "These guys were great," he said. "I hope they come back soon." Marcus agreed. It had been a good night. But as he rode the bus home, he kept thinking about the quiet man's familiar voice and mysterious smile. Marcus had been working at Velvet Nights for 2 weeks. He was getting better at his job every night. The customers liked him, and his tips were good. He was finally able to pay his rent and buy groceries. Tonight was Saturday, the busiest night of the week. The VIP section was completely full by 10 o'clock. Marcus was working alone because Kevin had called in sick. Sarah had warned him that Saturday nights could be crazy. Marcus was handling everything well until the same group from his first night arrived. The 4 loud men came up the stairs laughing and talking. Behind them was the quiet man in the baseball cap. Marcus recognized him immediately. "Great," Marcus thought to himself. "These guys again." During the past 2 weeks, Marcus had served many celebrities. He had met famous actors, musicians, and athletes. Most of them were nice, but some acted like they were better than everyone else. Marcus was getting tired of rich people who thought they deserved special treatment. The group sat at their usual corner table. The loud men immediately started ordering expensive drinks, but the quiet man just sat there looking around like he owned the place. This bothered Marcus more each time he saw it. "What can I get you to drink?" Marcus asked the quiet man, trying to sound professional. "Do you have any Dom Perignon 1996? The man asked softly. Marcus had never heard of that champagne. He knew it was probably very expensive. "I will have to check with the bar," he said. "It is okay if you do not have it. Just bring me whatever champagne you think is best." Marcus walked to the bar annoyed. Why could this guy not just order something normal? Why did he have to make things complicated? Marcus asked the bartender about the champagne. "Dom Perignon 1996? The bartender's eyes went wide. "That bottle costs $3,000. We only have 2 bottles left. Are you sure he wants it?" Marcus was shocked. $3,000 for 1 bottle of champagne. This guy was definitely showing off. Marcus decided the man was just another rich person trying to impress everyone. Marcus went back to the table. "We have that champagne, but it is very expensive. Are you sure you want it?" The quiet man looked up. "How much?" $3,000. The man did not even blink. "That sounds fine. Bring it, please." Marcus felt irritated. $3,000 meant nothing to this guy. He probably spent more on shoes. Marcus brought the bottle to the table, being extra careful not to drop it. As the night went on, the quiet man kept making special requests. He asked for specific types of glasses. He wanted ice made from a certain kind of water. He asked if the kitchen could make him a sandwich that was not on the menu. Each request was polite. The man never raised his voice or acted rude. But Marcus felt like the guy was testing him, like he was trying to see how much Marcus would do for him. The worst part was how the man just sat there acting calm and important, while his friends were having fun, dancing and talking to other customers. The quiet man stayed in his seat like he was watching over everything. Around midnight, Marcus overheard the man humming a song. It was a popular rap song that Marcus had heard on the radio many times. The man was humming it perfectly, like he knew every word. This gave Marcus an idea. He decided to have some fun with this customer who thought he was so cool. Marcus walked over to the table with a big fake smile. "I could not help but notice you humming that song," he said loudly. "You must be a big Drake fan." The man looked up, surprised that Marcus was talking to him about music. "I guess you could say that," the man replied quietly. "Let me guess. Marcus continued, his voice getting louder so other customers could hear. You probably think you could do better than Drake, right? Everyone thinks they are a rapper these days. The man's friends stopped talking and looked at Marcus. They seemed uncomfortable. But the quiet man just smiled slightly and did not say anything. Marcus took this as encouragement. I bet you practice rapping in your car thinking you are going to be the next big thing, am I right? I just enjoy music, the man said calmly. Sure you do, Marcus said sarcastically. Let me know when your album comes out. I will be sure to buy it. He laughed at his own joke. The man's friends exchanged worried looks. One of them tried to change the subject by asking for another round of drinks. But Marcus was enjoying himself now. You know what I love about guys like you? Marcus said, leaning on their table. You have all this money, so you think you can do anything, but having money does not make you talented. Drake actually earned his success. The quiet man nodded slowly. You are right. Success should be earned. Marcus felt like he was winning this conversation. This rich guy was finally admitting that Marcus was right. Exactly. Some people work hard for years to become successful. Other people just have rich parents and think they can buy their way into anything. That is very true, the man agreed. Marcus walked away feeling satisfied. He had put this arrogant customer in his place. Maybe now the guy would stop acting like he was so important. But as Marcus served other tables, he noticed something strange. Other staff members kept looking at the corner table nervously. When Marcus brought them another round of drinks, he heard one of the man's friends whisper, Maybe we should go somewhere else. The quiet man shook his head. It is fine. He does not know what, Marcus wondered. For the rest of the night, Marcus continued to give the quiet man poor service. When the man asked for water, Marcus took his time bringing it. When the man wanted to order food, Marcus suggested the cheapest items on the menu. How about a regular burger? Marcus asked. Since you are such a regular guy. The man smiled. A burger sounds perfect. Marcus was pleased with himself. He had shown this customer that money could not buy respect. At least not from Marcus Thompson. Near the end of the night, the man asked for his check. The total was over $8,000. Marcus expected the man to complain about the price or ask for a discount. Instead, the man looked at the check and nodded. Add a 20% tip for yourself, he said quietly. Marcus was surprised. 20% of $8,000 was $1,600. That was more than Marcus usually made in a month. Are you sure? Marcus asked. You worked hard tonight. You deserve it. As the group prepared to leave, the quiet man stood up slowly. For the first time all night, he looked directly at Marcus. Thank you for the service, he said. It was educational. There was something in the man's voice that made Marcus feel uncomfortable, like the man knew something that Marcus did not. After they left, Marcus counted his tip money. He had made more in one night than ever before. But instead of feeling happy, he felt confused. Why had the man been so nice after Marcus had been rude to him all night? Why had his friends looked so worried? And why did Marcus feel like he had missed something important? As Marcus cleaned up the VIP section, he could not shake the feeling that he had made a big mistake. But he did not know what it was. 3 days after the Saturday night incident, Marcus was feeling confident about his job. He had been rude to that quiet customer, but nothing bad had happened. In fact, the man had tipped him very well. Marcus thought this proved that rich people were all the same. They just wanted to show off their money. Tuesday night was usually slower than weekends. Marcus was working with Kevin again, who had recovered from his sickness. Only half the VIP tables were filled. Marcus was relaxed and in a good mood. At around 11 o'clock, the same group arrived again. Marcus could not believe it. Why did these guys keep coming back? Especially after how Marcus had treated their quiet friend on Saturday. The four loud men were their usual selves, laughing and ordering expensive drinks, but the quiet man in the baseball cap seemed different tonight. He looked more tired, like he had been working hard. He also seemed to be paying more attention to the music downstairs. Here we go again, Marcus muttered to Kevin. Mr. Important and his friends are back. Which one is Mr. Important? Kevin asked. The short guy in the cap. He thinks he is so cool just because he has money. Last Saturday he was acting like he owned the place. Kevin looked at the table. He seems nice enough to me. What did he do? It is not what he did. It is how he acts. Like everyone should kiss his feet just because he can afford expensive champagne. The group sat at their usual corner table. Marcus took their drink orders with a fake smile. When he got to the quiet man, Marcus decided to have some more fun. Let me guess, Marcus said, loudly. Dom Perignon 1996 again? Or maybe you want to try something even more expensive tonight? The man looked up calmly. Actually, just a beer tonight. Whatever you have on tap is fine. This surprised Marcus. A regular beer only cost $8. Why would someone who spent $3,000 on champagne want a cheap beer? Are you sure? Do not want to impress your friends with another $1,000 bottle? The man's friend stopped talking and looked at Marcus with worried expressions. But the quiet man just smiled. A beer sounds perfect tonight, thank you. Marcus brought the beer, feeling confused. He had expected the man to order something expensive again. Now Marcus did not know how to make fun of him. As the night went on, Marcus noticed the man was different. Instead of just sitting quietly, he was tapping on his phone a lot. Sometimes he would write something down on a napkin. He seemed to be working on something. Around midnight, the man started humming again. This time it was a newer Drake song that had just come out a few weeks ago. The man knew every word perfectly. He was humming the melody and even doing some of the rhythm parts. Marcus had an idea. This was his chance to really embarrass this customer in front of everyone. Marcus walked over to the table and interrupted the man's humming. Wow, you really do love Drake, do not you? He said loudly enough for nearby tables to hear. The man stopped humming and looked up. I enjoy his music, yes. I bet you know all his songs by heart. Let me guess, you practice them at home, pretending. You are him? Some customers at nearby tables started listening to the conversation. Marcus felt like he had an audience now. Music is important to me, the man said quietly. Music is important to everyone, Marcus said sarcastically. But most of us do not walk around acting like we are famous rappers. Most of us know the difference between listening to music and actually making it. One of the man's friends tried to interrupt. Maybe we should order some food. But Marcus kept going. You know what I think? I think rich guys like you hear a Drake song and think, I could do that easy. But you know what? Drake actually has talent. He worked hard to get where he is. He did not just buy his way to success. The man nodded slowly. You are absolutely right. Real success takes years of hard work. Marcus felt encouraged. Exactly. Some people spend their whole lives working on their music. They struggle and face rejection over and over, but they keep trying because they have real passion. That is very true, the man agreed. But then you have people like you, Marcus continued, getting more excited. People who think money can buy talent, who think they can just walk into the music business and become stars overnight. The man's friends looked extremely uncomfortable now. Two of them kept checking their phones like they wanted to leave. But the quiet man seemed interested in what Marcus was saying. What do you think makes a good rapper? The man asked. Marcus was surprised by the question. Well, you need good lyrics, you need rhythm, you need to understand the culture and the history of hip-hop. Most importantly, you need to have something real to say. Those are good points, the man said. What about connecting with fans? That is huge, Marcus said, warming up to the topic. The best rappers make people feel like they understand their lives. They talk about real problems and real experiences. And you think Drake does that well? Are you kidding? Drake is one of the best ever. He talks about everything. Success, failure, love, family. People connect with him because he is honest about his feelings. The man smiled. It sounds like you really respect his work. Of course I do. Drake started from nothing and built an empire. He did not have rich parents buying him studio time. He earned everything he has. Marcus was really getting into it now. He felt like he was giving this rich customer a lesson about real life. You know what else I respect about Drake? Marcus continued. He stays humble. Even though he is one of the biggest stars in the world, he still treats regular people with respect. He does not forget where he came from. That is important, the man agreed. Unlike some people, Marcus said, looking directly at the man, some people get a little money and suddenly think they are better than everyone else. They forget what it is like to struggle. The man was quiet for a moment, then he said, "What would you say to someone like that? Someone who you think has forgotten their struggles?" Marcus leaned on the table. "I would tell them to remember where they came from. I would tell them that money does not make you special. And I would tell them that if they really want to be like Drake, they should start by learning some humility." The man nodded thoughtfully. Those are wise words. Marcus felt proud of himself. He had really told this customer what he needed to hear. Maybe now the guy would stop acting so important. "Well," the man said, standing up slowly. "Thank you for the conversation. It was very enlightening." As the group prepared to leave, Marcus felt satisfied. He had put this arrogant customer in his place and given him some good advice about life. But as he watched them walk away, Marcus noticed something strange. The security guards who always followed them seemed more tense than usual, and when they reached the stairs, the quiet man turned back and looked at Marcus one more time. There was something in that look that made Marcus feel uneasy, like the man was seeing him differently now, like everything had changed between them. Marcus shook off the feeling and went back to work. He had done the right thing. Someone needed to tell rich people the truth about real life. He was glad it had been him. The next Friday night, Marcus arrived at work feeling good about himself. He had been working at Velvet Nights for almost a month now. His confidence was growing every day. He was making good money and learning how to handle difficult customers. Kevin was working with him again. As they set up the VIP section, Kevin seemed excited about something. "What is you so happy tonight?" Marcus asked. "Sarah told me we might have some really special guests tonight." She would not say who, but she seemed really excited. Marcus shrugged. "Probably just another actor or football player. They are all the same to me." Kevin looked at Marcus strangely. "Do you not get excited about meeting famous people?" "Not really. Famous people put their pants on one leg at a time, just like everyone else. Money and fame do not make you special." "I guess that is true," Kevin said. "But some celebrities are really cool. It is interesting to see what they are like in person." At 9:30, Marcus noticed something unusual. There were more security guards than normal. Instead of the usual 2 guards, there were 6 men in black suits positioned around the VIP section. They all had earpieces and kept looking around carefully. "Why so much security tonight?" Marcus asked the head of security. "Special guest," the man replied shortly. "Very important." Marcus was curious but not worried. He had handled important customers before. He was ready for anything. At 10 o'clock, the same group from Tuesday night arrived. Marcus groaned internally. The 4 loud men and their quiet friend in the baseball cap were back again. Why did these guys keep coming to the same place, but tonight something was different? As soon as they walked in, all the security guards stood straighter. They moved closer to the group but tried to look casual about it. Marcus had never seen the guards act this way before. The group sat at their corner table as always. But tonight, other customers in the VIP section kept looking over at them. A few people even pointed, though they tried to be sneaky about it. Marcus took their drink orders. The quiet man ordered another simple beer. His friends ordered their usual expensive drinks. Nothing seemed different about the group themselves, but Marcus started noticing other strange things. When he went to the bar to get their drinks, the bartender asked him quietly, "Is that really him at table 12? "Is what really who?" Marcus asked. The bartender looked confused. "Never mind, I thought." "Never mind." As Marcus served other tables, he overheard pieces of conversations. A woman at table 8 was talking to her friend. "I cannot believe he is here. Should we ask for a picture?" Who are they talking about? Marcus wondered. At table 6, a man was showing his phone to his girlfriend. "Look, I got a video of him walking in." This is so cool. Marcus was getting more confused. Which person were all these customers talking about? He looked around the VIP section. There were several famous people there tonight, but none who seemed to be causing this much excitement. Around 11:30, Marcus noticed that the club's general manager had come upstairs. This was very unusual. The general manager almost never left his office. He was a busy man who handled the business side of the club. The manager walked directly to the corner table where the group was sitting. He stopped next to the quiet man in the baseball cap and leaned down to whisper something. The quiet man nodded and whispered something back. Marcus had never seen the general manager talk to a customer before. Ever. What made this customer so special that the general manager came to see him personally? As the night went on, Marcus noticed more unusual things. When the group ordered food, the kitchen sent out extra dishes they had not ordered. Compliments of the chef, the food runner said. When was the last time the chef sent free food to a customer? Marcus had worked there for a month and had never seen it happen. Also, several other celebrities in the VIP section came over to say hello to the group. They all seemed especially excited to meet the quiet man. A famous actress hugged him and talked to him for 10 minutes. A well-known singer shook his hand and asked if they could take a picture together. Marcus was getting frustrated. Why was everyone treating this guy like he was the most important person in the room? Sure, he had money, but so did lots of other customers. Around midnight, Marcus overheard a conversation that made him stop and listen. Two women at a nearby table were talking. "I cannot believe how normal he seems," one woman said. "I know, right? You would never guess from looking at him," the other replied. "He is so much shorter than I expected, but that voice, I would recognize that voice anywhere. Should we go ask for a selfie?" "I do not know. He seems like he wants privacy. Maybe we should just let him enjoy his night." Marcus was burning with curiosity now. What voice were they talking about? What was so special about this guy's voice? Marcus decided to pay closer attention to the quiet man. For the rest of the night, he listened carefully whenever the man spoke. But the man's voice just sounded normal to Marcus. It was a little soft and deep, but nothing special. At 1 a.m, something happened that really confused Marcus. A young man approached the corner table. He looked nervous and excited. "Excuse me," the young man said to the quiet customer. "I am sorry to bother you, but I just wanted to say that your music changed my life. When I was going through depression, your songs helped me get through it." The quiet man stood up and shook the young man's hand. "Thank you for telling me that. That means more to me than you know. Could I maybe get a picture?" the young man asked. Of course. They took a selfie together, and the young man walked away looking incredibly happy. Marcus was completely confused now. What did the young man mean about your music? Was this customer a musician? But he was too young and too quiet to be anyone famous that Marcus would know. As the night ended, Marcus felt like he was missing something obvious. Everyone else in the club seemed to know something he did not. The security, the management, the other customers, they all treated the quiet man like he was incredibly important, but Marcus could not figure out why. The man was polite and tipped well, but so did lots of rich customers. What made him so special? When the group finally left at 3 a.m, Marcus watched them go. The quiet man walked calmly through the club while his security guards surrounded him. Other customers stopped and stared as he passed. Some took pictures with their phones. "Kevin," Marcus said as they cleaned up. "What is so special about that guy in the baseball cap?" Kevin looked at him strangely. "You really do not know?" "Know what?" Kevin started to say something, then stopped. "Nothing, never mind." But Marcus could tell Kevin was hiding something. Everyone seemed to be hiding something from him. As Marcus rode the bus home, he kept thinking about all the strange things he had noticed. The extra security, the general manager's visit, the free food from the kitchen, the way other celebrities acted around the quiet man. There was definitely something Marcus was not understanding. Something important. Something that everyone else seemed to know except him. For the first time since he started working at Velvet Nights, Marcus felt like he was on the outside of something big, and he did not like that feeling at all. Saturday night arrived, and Marcus was determined to figure out what was so special about the quiet customer. He had spent all day thinking about the strange things he had noticed. Something big was happening, and he was tired of being left out. Marcus arrived at work early and decided to ask some questions. He found Kevin in the employee break room. "Kevin, I need you to be honest with me. Who is that guy in the baseball cap? Everyone acts weird around him." Kevin looked uncomfortable. "Marcus, maybe you should ask Sarah about this." "I am asking you. You obviously know something I do not." Kevin sighed. "Look, it is not my place to say anything, but maybe you should pay more attention to what is happening around you." This made Marcus even more frustrated. Why was everyone being so mysterious? That night, the VIP section was packed. It was the busiest Saturday Marcus had seen since he started working there. Every table was full, and there was a waiting list of people wanting to get in. At 10:30, the usual group arrived, but tonight was different. When they walked up the stairs, several customers in the VIP section stood up and applauded. Marcus had never seen anything like it. The quiet man looked embarrassed by the attention. He waved politely and quickly sat down at his corner table. But Marcus noticed that his face was red, like he was not used to that kind of public attention. "Why? Are people clapping for him?" Marcus asked Kevin. "Just serve the drinks, Marcus," Kevin replied nervously. Marcus was getting angry now. Everyone was treating him like a child who could not handle the truth. He decided to figure this out himself. As Marcus served other tables, he started listening more carefully to what customers were saying. At table 4, he heard a woman tell her friend, "I cannot believe he comes to the same club as us regular people." At table 7, a man was on his phone saying, "You will never guess who I am sitting 20 feet away from right now." Everyone was talking about someone, but Marcus still could not figure out who. Around midnight, Marcus decided to take his break. Instead of going to the employee break room, he went to the bathroom near the DJ booth downstairs. He needed to think. In the bathroom, Marcus overheard 2 bartenders talking. "I still cannot believe Drake comes here every week," one said. "I know, right? He is so cool and down to earth, not like other celebrities. My cousin is going to flip when I tell him I served drinks to Drake." Marcus felt his stomach drop. Drake? The rapper Drake? Were they talking about someone else, or? Marcus pulled out his phone and quickly searched for recent pictures of Drake. His hands were shaking as he scrolled through images. Most of the pictures showed Drake on stage or at award shows, dressed up and under bright lights. But then Marcus found some casual photos. Pictures of Drake wearing regular clothes and baseball caps. Pictures where he looked relaxed and normal. Marcus stared at one photo in particular. It showed Drake at a basketball game, wearing a black baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. He was sitting quietly while people around him were cheering and taking pictures. The face in the photo looked exactly like the quiet customer upstairs. "No way," Marcus whispered to himself. "No way." But as he looked at more photos, the truth became impossible to deny. The quiet man in the baseball cap was Drake. The biggest rapper in the world had been coming to Marcus's club every week, and Marcus had been mocking him. Marcus felt sick. He remembered everything he had said to Drake, all the comments about wannabe rappers, all the jokes about people who think they can buy their way into the music business, all the lectures about how Drake was a real artist who earned his success. He had been lecturing Drake about Drake. Marcus put his phone away and tried to calm down. Maybe he was wrong. Maybe it was just someone who looked like Drake. But deep down, he knew the truth. Everything made sense now. The security guards, the general manager's visit, the way other celebrities acted around him, the free food from the kitchen, the customers taking pictures and asking for selfies. Drake owned part of this club. That was why he came here every week. That was why everyone treated him like he was the boss. Because he was the boss. Marcus realized he had been insulting his own employer. He had been rude to one of the most successful musicians in the world. And worse, he had been lecturing Drake about what makes a good rapper. Marcus splashed cold water on his face and tried to think. What should he do now? Should he go upstairs and apologize? Should he pretend nothing had happened? Should he just quit and never come back? When Marcus returned to the VIP section, he could barely look at Drake's table. Every time he walked past, he felt embarrassed and terrified. How had he been so stupid? How had he not recognized one of the most famous people in the world? As Marcus served other customers, he kept glancing at Drake. Now that he knew who it was, everything was obvious. The way Drake moved, the way he spoke, even the way he listened to music. It was all clearly Drake. Marcus noticed that Drake was watching him too. Their eyes met a few times across the room, and each time Drake smiled slightly. Did Drake know that Marcus had figured it out? Around 2 a.m, Marcus was cleaning glasses when Kevin approached him. "You look like you have seen a ghost," Kevin said. "Are you okay?" Marcus did not know what to say. He could not admit that he had just realized he had been insulting Drake for weeks. It was too embarrassing. "I'm fine," Marcus said quietly. "Are you sure? You have been acting strange all night." Before Marcus could answer, Sarah appeared beside them. She looked serious. "Marcus, can I speak with you privately?" she asked. Marcus felt his heart sink. Did Sarah know what had happened? Was he about to be fired? They walked to a quiet corner of the VIP section. Sarah looked at Marcus carefully. "The customer at table 12 would like to speak with you," she said. Marcus felt like he might throw up. "Table 12? Yes. He asked for you specifically. He said it was important." Marcus looked over at Drake's table. Drake was sitting alone now. His friends had gone downstairs to dance. He was looking directly at Marcus with a calm expression. "What does he want to talk about?" Marcus asked. "I do not know. But when someone that important asks to speak with, you go speak with them." Sarah walked away, leaving Marcus standing alone. He knew he had to face this situation. There was no way to avoid it now. Marcus took a deep breath and walked over to table 12. His legs felt weak and his mouth was dry. Drake looked up as Marcus approached. "Please, sit down," he said quietly. Marcus sat down across from Drake, trying not to shake. Up close, there was no doubt who this was. It was definitely Drake. "I think you figured out who I am," Drake said with a small smile. Marcus nodded, unable to speak. "I thought so. You looked pretty shocked when you came back from your break." Marcus finally found his voice. "I am so sorry. I had no idea. I feel terrible about everything I said." Drake leaned back in his chair. "Do not apologize yet. First, I want to ask you something. Do you still think everything you said about me was true?" Marcus sat across from Drake, feeling like his world was falling apart. His hands were sweating and he could barely breathe. The most successful rapper in the world was asking him if he still believed all the terrible things he had said. I do not know what to say," Marcus stammered. "I feel so stupid." Drake leaned forward slightly. "That is not what I asked. I asked if you still think what you said was true." Marcus tried to think clearly despite his panic. What had he said exactly? He had said that Drake was a real artist who earned his success through hard work. He had said Drake was humble and treated regular people with respect. He had said Drake connected with fans by being honest about his feelings. "The things I said about your music were true," Marcus said quietly. "I really do respect your work. But the things I said about rich people and fake rappers, I was talking about you, and that was completely wrong." Drake nodded. "So you respect my music, but you thought I was a fake rich person pretending to be a rapper?" "Yes, sir. And I am so sorry. I had no idea who you were." "But that is exactly my point," Drake said. "You did not know who I was, so you treated me based on what you assumed about me. You saw an expensive car, expensive clothes, and expensive champagne, and you decided I was just another rich person playing pretend." Marcus felt even worse. "You are right, I judged you before I knew anything about you. And when I was polite to you, even after you were rude to me, what did you think?" Marcus remembered how confused he had been by Drake's calm responses. "I thought you were just trying to show off your money. I thought you were trying to prove you were better than me. But I was actually just trying to treat you with respect even though you were not treating me with respect." "Yes, sir, I see that now." Drake was quiet for a moment, looking around the VIP section. Marcus could see Sarah watching them nervously from across the room. Other staff members were trying to look busy, while obviously listening to their conversation. "Marcus, can I tell you something about myself?" Drake asked. "Of course. I grew up without much money. My mother worked very hard to take care of me. I started rapping when I was young because I loved music, not because I thought it would make me rich. For years, nobody believed in me. Record labels rejected me. Other rappers made fun of me. I almost gave up many times." Marcus listened carefully, feeling more ashamed with each word. "When I finally became successful, I promised myself I would never forget what it felt like to struggle. I would never look down on people who were working hard to make a living. I would always treat service workers with respect, because I knew what it was like to depend on tips to pay rent." "I am so sorry," Marcus said again. "I come to this club because I part own it, yes. But I also come here because the staff usually treats me like a normal person. I can sit quietly, enjoy music, and not worry about people bothering me for pictures every 5 minutes." Marcus realized how badly he had messed up. Drake had found a place where he could relax and be normal, and Marcus had ruined that for him. "The ironic thing," Drake continued, "is that everything you said about what makes a good rapper was exactly right. Real success does come from hard work. Good rappers do connect with their fans. Artists should stay humble and remember where they came from." "But I was lecturing you about your own career," Marcus said miserably. "Yes, you were. And do you know what the worst part was?" Marcus shook his head. "The worst part was that you were right about everything, but you could not see that I was actually living those values. You were so focused on my appearance and my money that you missed who I really was as a person." Marcus felt tears starting to form in his eyes. "I am the worst employee you have ever had." Drake smiled slightly. "Actually, you are not. Do you want to know why?" Marcus looked up, confused. "Because even though you were rude to me, you were still doing your job well. You brought my drinks quickly. You kept my table clean. You made sure my friends were happy. You were professional with every other customer in the club. But I was terrible to you. You were rude to someone you thought was just a rich customer. That is not good, but it is not the worst thing in the world." "Do you know what would have been worse?" Marcus shook his head. "If you had been nice to me only after you found out who I was. If you had suddenly started treating me better because of my fame or money. That would have shown me that you are fake." Marcus was confused. "But I was mean to you because I did not know who you were." "Exactly. Which means your rudeness came from your real feelings, not from trying to impress me or get something from me. You were honest, even if you were wrong." Marcus did not understand where this conversation was going. Was Drake going to fire him or not? "Marcus, let me ask you something else. If a regular customer, not a celebrity, just a normal person with money, had acted the same way I did, would you have treated them the same way?" Marcus thought about it honestly. "Probably, yes. I have been getting frustrated with rich customers lately. I thought they were all just showing off. So this was not really about me specifically. This was about how you feel about wealthy people, in general." "I guess so. But that does not make it right." "No, it does not. But it helps me understand where you were coming from." Drake leaned back in his chair and looked around the club again. The music was still loud downstairs and people were still dancing and having fun. But in their quiet corner, it felt like they were in their own world. "I have a question for you, Marcus, and I want you to be completely honest." "Okay. If I were, not Drake the rapper, if I were just some rich business owner you had never heard of and I offered you more money to be nicer to me, what would you say?" Marcus thought carefully about the question. "I would say that respect should not cost extra. Everyone deserves good service regardless of how much money they have. Even rich people you do not like?" "Yes. Even them." Drake nodded. "That is the right answer, and that is why I am not going to fire you." Marcus looked up in shock. "You are not?" "No. But I am going to give you a choice." "What kind of choice?" Drake stood up slowly and looked down at Marcus. "You can leave tonight and never come back. I will give you a good reference and we can both pretend this never happened. Or you can stay and prove to me that you understand what you did wrong. Marcus stood up too. What would I have to do to prove that? Treat every customer with the same respect you would want to receive. Rich or poor, famous or unknown, nice or rude. Everyone gets professional service from you. And if I mess up again, then you are fired immediately. No second chances after this. Marcus looked around the VIP section. He saw Kevin watching nervously. He saw Sarah trying to look busy, while obviously waiting to see what would happen. He thought about his rent money and his grocery bills. He thought about how hard it had been to find this job, but more than that, he thought about what Drake had said about respect and dignity. Marcus realized he had been angry at rich people because he felt like they looked down on him. But he had been doing the same thing to them. I want to stay, Marcus said. I want to do better. Drake smiled and extended his hand. Then let us start over. Hi, I am Aubrey. Most people call me Drake. Marcus shook his hand. I am Marcus Thompson, and I promise I will treat you and every other customer with respect. Good, Drake said. Now could you please bring me another beer? And this time, just treat me like any other customer who wants good service. Marcus smiled for the first time all night. Yes, sir. Coming right up. 3 months had passed since that life-changing Saturday night. Marcus had kept his promise to Drake and to himself. He treated every customer with respect and professionalism, regardless of who they were or how much money they spent. The change in Marcus was obvious to everyone at Velvet Nights. Sarah had noticed that customer complaints about Marcus had stopped completely. Kevin saw that Marcus was calmer and more confident at work. Even the other staff members could see that Marcus had become a better person. But the biggest change was in how Marcus felt about himself. He no longer felt angry or jealous when he served wealthy customers. He had learned that judging people based on their appearance or money was unfair and pointless. Tonight was another busy Saturday. The VIP section was packed with celebrities, business owners, and regular people who had saved up for a special night out. Marcus moved between tables with confidence, treating everyone the same way. At 10:30, Drake arrived with his usual group of friends. Over the past 3 months, he had continued coming to the club every week or two, but now his visits felt different to Marcus. Good evening, Mr. Graham, Marcus said as they approached their corner table. He had learned that Drake's real name was Aubrey Drake Graham. Good evening, Marcus, Drake replied with a smile. How has your night been? Very busy, but good. Can I start you off with your usual beer? That sounds perfect. As Marcus served Drake's table, he reflected on how much their relationship had changed. They were not exactly friends. Drake was still his boss and a global superstar. But there was mutual respect between them now. Drake had kept his word about checking on Marcus's progress. Every few weeks he would ask Sarah how Marcus was doing. He never interfered with Marcus's work, but he wanted to make sure Marcus was growing as a person. Around midnight, Marcus noticed something unusual. Drake was sitting alone at his table, while his friends danced downstairs. He was writing something on a napkin, which he did sometimes when he got ideas for songs. But tonight, Drake looked up and waved Marcus over. Do you have a minute? Drake asked. Of course, what can I do for you? Drake folded the napkin and put it in his pocket. I wanted to tell you something. Sarah says you have become one of the best waiters we have ever had here. Marcus felt proud, but tried to stay humble. I am just trying to do my job well. It is more than that. She told me about last week, when that drunk customer was bothering the women at table 6. You handled that situation perfectly. Marcus remembered the incident. A man had been making the women uncomfortable, and Marcus had quietly asked security to escort him out. The women had thanked Marcus and left a big tip. Anyone would have done the same thing, Marcus said. No, they would not have. You saw a problem and fixed it without causing a scene. You protected those customers while treating the drunk man with dignity. That takes real skill. Marcus felt good hearing this praise, but he was curious why Drake was bringing it up. The thing is, Drake continued, I have been watching how you work for these past 3 months. You have learned something that a lot of people never learn. What is that? That treating people with respect is not about them, it is about you. It is about who you choose to be as a person. Marcus nodded. He had realized this himself over the past few months. Being kind and professional made him feel better about himself, regardless of how customers treated him. I have a proposition. For you, Drake said. What kind of proposition? I am opening a new restaurant next month. It is going to be different from this club, more casual, family-friendly. I need someone to help manage the staff and train the waiters. Marcus was shocked. You want me to be a manager? I want you to be the head of customer service. You would train all the waiters and waitresses to treat customers the way you have learned to treat them. You would make sure everyone who comes to the restaurant feels welcome and respected. Marcus could hardly believe what he was hearing. A few months ago, he had been a struggling waiter who almost got fired for being rude. Now Drake was offering him a promotion to a management position. Why me? Marcus asked. Because you learned the hard way what respect really means. You know what it feels like to judge someone unfairly, and you know how wrong that can be. That experience will make you a better teacher. Marcus thought about the offer. It sounded like an amazing opportunity, but he was nervous about the responsibility. What? If I mess up? What if I am not good enough to be a manager? Drake smiled. Do you remember what you told me about Drake's music when you did not know who I was? Which part? You said that real success comes from years of hard work and learning from mistakes. You said the best artists are the ones who stay humble and remember where they came from. Marcus remembered saying those words, back when he was trying to lecture Drake about Drake's own career. You were right then, and you are right now. Success is not about being perfect. It is about working hard, learning from your mistakes, and treating people with dignity. Marcus looked around the VIP section. He saw Kevin serving a table of businessmen with patience and professionalism. He saw Sarah helping a nervous young couple who were celebrating their anniversary. He saw all the staff working together to make sure every customer had a good experience. I would love to take the job, Marcus said. But I have one question. What is it? Will you still come by sometimes to check on how I am doing? Drake laughed. Of course. I have to make sure my head of customer service is practicing what he preaches. They shook hands, and Marcus felt like his life was starting a completely new chapter. He had learned that respect, humility, and hard work were not just nice ideas. They were the foundation of real success. Over the next month, as Marcus prepared for his new job, he often thought about the lessons he had learned. He had discovered that you cannot judge someone's character by their appearance or wealth. He had learned that treating people with dignity was a choice that said more about him than about them. Most importantly, he had learned that everyone deserves respect, whether they are a global superstar or someone just trying to make ends meet. On his last night working as a waiter at Velvet Nights, Marcus served Drake's table one final time. As the night ended, Drake left him a note along with his tip. The note said, "Thank you for teaching me that giving someone a second chance can change 2 lives, yours and theirs. Good luck with the new restaurant. AD." Marcus folded the note carefully and put it in his wallet. He knew he would keep it forever as a reminder of the night that changed everything. As Marcus walked out of Velvet Nights for the last time as a waiter, he felt grateful for the hardest lesson he had ever learned. Sometimes the people who teach us the most about ourselves are the ones we least expect. And sometimes, the biggest opportunities come from the moments when we are brave enough to admit we were wrong and work to become better. Marcus Thompson had started as a struggling waiter who judged people unfairly. He was ending as a manager who understood that everyone, no matter who they are, deserves to be treated with respect and dignity. It had been the most expensive and valuable education of his life.